The stars shone brightly outside the large windows of the space station, Arcanus V. This station floated peacefully in space, far from any planet. It was built to bring different alien races together. Here, peace was important. War was never welcome. Rayan. Carter, a young human ambassador from Earth, stood quietly near a glowing blue pillar. He wore a simple but clean black suit. His brown eyes moved around, watching strange but beautiful beings from across the galaxy. Some had wings, others had glowing skin, and many spoke in soft, musical voices. Rayan felt a little nervous, but he stayed calm. This was his first interstellar summit. Earth had only joined the Galactic Union 10 years ago. Most humans were still new to space travel. But Rayan was smart, respectful, and brave. That's why Earth chose him to attend this important meeting. As he looked around, a quiet whisper passed through the crowd. Heads turned. The music in the air changed slightly, becoming softer and more graceful. She had arrived. Princess Zalara of Netheria walked into the hall with elegance. Her long silver dress floated like mist behind her. Her skin glowed softly like moonlight on water. Violet eyes sparkled with curiosity. She was tall, calm, and graceful. Many ambassadors bowed low as she passed, showing deep respect. Netherians were known across the galaxy for their wisdom and power, but they were also known for their pride. They rarely trusted other races, especially not new ones like humans. Rayan didn't bow too low. He placed his hand on his chest, a greeting from Earth that meant respect and peace. Zalara noticed him and paused for a second. She gave him a short nod, then walked on. Most didn't see this, but Rayan did. Later, during the welcome dinner, all the ambassadors sat at long round tables. There were foods from every planet, glowing fruits, steaming soups, and crystal-like sweets. The chairs floated slightly above the ground, and soft music played in the background. Rayan found a seat near the middle. He didn't expect anyone famous to sit beside him. But to his surprise, Princess Zalara chose the empty seat to his right. The room became quiet for a moment. Some whispered, "Why is the princess sitting with the human?" Rayan didn't show his shock. He simply smiled and said, "Good evening, princess. I hope you are enjoying the summit." Zalara tilted her head. Most would begin with praise or fear. You begin with peace. That is, ... rare. Rayan chuckled softly. On Earth, we try to treat others as equals. I hope that is not offensive. Her lips curved slightly. It is not. It is ... refreshing. As they spoke, the dinner continued. Yurin told her about Earth, the oceans, the forests, the people's dreams. Zalara listened with quiet interest. She spoke about Netheria, the floating cities, the glowing trees, the songs made of light. Then something unexpected happened. Rayan reached into his pocket and placed a small item on the table. It was a carved wooden pendant, a simple charm his younger sister had given him. On Earth, he said, we share small tokens with those we respect. Would you accept this? Zalara looked at the pendant. Her eyes widened just a little. You offer this ... to me? She asked, her voice calm but surprised. Yes, Rayan said kindly. It's not valuable in money, but it holds meaning. Silence followed. Zalara slowly picked up the pendant. The room seemed to freeze. Then, in a soft but clear voice, she said something that shocked everyone around the table. So, you're taking me as your life partner, Rayan? Blinked. I'm sorry. She held up the pendant gently. Netherian tradition, offering a personal token to a royal during a peace feast, is a symbol. It means you seek a bond, not just friendship, but a deep life connection. Rayan's face turned pale. Oh, ... I didn't know. Some nearby guests chuckled. A few looked shocked. A few looked curious. Zalara studied him closely. You truly did not know? No, Rayan admitted. Only meant to show respect. But I did mean every word I said. I value peace. I value friendship. And I value what you shared with me. For a moment, there was silence between them. Then Zalara gave a quiet smile. Then perhaps it was not a mistake. Perhaps it was fate. Rayan smiled back, feeling unsure but hopeful. After dinner, as the guests moved toward the music hall, many eyes followed the human and the Netherian princess. Whispers filled the air. A human, offering a life bond. Did he really mean it? She accepted the token. But Rayan and Zalara didn't care about the whispers. They stood together near the large glass wall, looking out into space. I must ask, she said gently, would you take back your offer now that you understand what it means? Rayan thought carefully. I can't promise something without understanding it fully, but I can say this, I meant to show you my heart. And if that is the beginning of something more, I won't turn away. Zalara looked at the pendant in her hand. Then she looked at Rayan. Then we shall see where this path leads. Above them, the stars continued to shine, bright and endless. And so began the story of a human ambassador and an alien princess, a story that started with a simple gift, and a question that would change everything. After the surprising events at the summit, the name Rion Carter was suddenly known across many planets. Some people laughed. Others were confused, but many were curious. Who was this young human who had unknowingly offered a life bond, token to Princess Zalara of Netheria? Back on Earth, Rayan's story was shared on every news channel. Some said he had embarrassed Earth, others said he had brought honor. Rayan didn't focus on the noise. He was thinking only of one thing, or rather one person. Princess Zalara. He still remembered her words clearly. Then we shall see where this path leads. That path was now leading him to Netheria. The journey to Netheria took 3 Earth days on a special diplomatic starship. The ship was quiet and smooth. It moved faster than the speed of light, using advanced Netherian technology. Rayan had never traveled so far from home before. He looked out the window often, watching stars fly past like silver rain. Zalara traveled with him. She had invited him as part of a cultural exchange. Officially, it was for peace building. But everyone knew there was more behind this visit. Rayan and Zalara shared many quiet conversations during the journey. They sat in the garden room of the ship, surrounded by floating plants and soft lights. Your world is very different from mine, Zalara said one evening as she watched a recording of Earth's oceans. It is, Rayan replied, but I think that's why we can learn so much from each other. She smiled slightly. Do humans always say such simple, kind things? Not always, Rayan admitted, but I try to be honest, especially with you. Zalara looked at him closely. Honesty is rare in the stars, Rayan. I hope you never lose it. When the ship finally reached Netheria, Rayan was not prepared for its beauty. From space, the planet looked like a glowing pearl. But as they landed, he saw cities floating in the sky, held up by energy waves. Huge crystal towers reached toward the clouds. Trees shimmered in soft colors, and rivers of light flowed across the land like living streams. It's like a dream, Rayan whispered. Zalara nodded. And now you're part of it. A group of Netherian elders greeted them. They wore long robes of light and moved slowly as if floating. They studied Rayan carefully, but said nothing rude. Zalara introduced him calmly. This is Ambassador Rayan of Earth. He is someone I trust. That word trust meant a lot on Netheria. Rayan was given a guest room in the sky, palace, where Zalara lived. The room had soft walls that changed color based on mood. The bed felt like sleeping on a cloud. A gentle melody played from the air itself. Rayan had never felt more welcome or more nervous. Zalara guided him through the palace and explained everything with care. This is the Hall of Echoes, she said, showing him a large room filled with memory crystals. Our people store their most important moments here. What kind of moments? Rayan asked. First words, promises, truths spoken from the heart, she said. Someday, perhaps your words will be placed here. Rayan felt humbled. I'll try to be worthy. On the 3rd day of his visit, Zalara took Rayan to the Garden of Harmony, a sacred place where Netherians brought important guests. Garden floated above a glowing lake, and the air smelled of stars and flowers. There, they met an elder named Virel, who had known Zalara since she was young. "You are the human," Virel said, looking at Rayan with kind but sharp eyes. "Yes." "Sir Rayan," replied politely. "Many wonder if your offer was a mistake," Virel said. "But mistakes sometimes open doors. Are you willing to walk through those doors, not knowing what lies behind them?" Rayan took a deep breath. "Yes. I may not know everything about your ways, but I came to learn, and I do not turn away from responsibility." Studied him for a moment longer. Then he smiled and let the path continue. Zalara said nothing, but her eyes showed quiet joy. That evening, the Netherian Council invited Rayan to a cultural ceremony. The hall was filled with music made of light and sound. Dancers moved like wind, and every step told a story. During the event, Zalara stood beside Rayan and spoke to the people. "This human gave me a gift, not just a token, but respect, honesty, and time. I do not yet know what the future holds, but I wish to walk with him and learn together." The hall was silent. Then soft applause began, slow at first, then stronger. Rayan felt warmth in his heart. Not from pride, but from connection. After the ceremony, Zalara led Rayan to a quiet balcony. "Today was important," she said. "Yes," he agreed. "Your people have been kind. They still watch, still wonder." Rayan turned to her. "And you? Do you still wonder too?" Zalara looked up at the twin moons. "I do, but less than before." She turned to face him fully. "Rayan, do you understand what it means to walk beside me? Truly walk beside me, not just as a guest, but as a partner of heart and spirit?" Rayan didn't answer immediately. He thought carefully, then spoke softly. "I'm still learning, but I know this. I want to try, not because of your crown or the beauty of your world, but because of who you are." Zalara's eyes shimmered. She said nothing, but the silence between them felt full of trust, respect, and something beginning to grow. Later that night, as Rayan rested in his room, he looked at a small, glowing stone given to him by Zalara. It wasn't a symbol of marriage or promise, not yet, but it was an Netherian word carved into crystal. Karela, which meant a beginning. He placed it beside his earth pendant and smiled. Yes, this was just the beginning. The sun rose slowly over the floating city of Netheria. Soft golden light spread across the sky, lighting up the clouds like silk. From his room in the Sky Palace, Rayan stood near the window, watching the beauty of the alien world. Been here for many days now, and yet every morning felt like something new. This day, however, was special. Princess Zalara had told him the night before. "If you are serious about walking beside me, there are 3 tests you must face. Not because I doubt you, but because my people need to believe in you." Rayan had nodded without fear. "I understand. I'm ready." The tests were part of Netherian tradition. Anyone who wished to bond with a royal had to complete them. Not to prove strength or skill, but heart. The tests were called wisdom, compassion, community. The first test, Wisdom Rayan, followed Zalara to a tall crystal building known as the Tower of Balance. Inside, a group of elder counselors sat in silence, their eyes closed. In front of them floated a large sphere, glowing with energy. This was the council core, a thinking machine that held knowledge from thousands of years. Zalara spoke gently. "Your test is to solve a conflict. 2 Netherian provinces are arguing over a shared energy river. They both claim it belongs to them. You must find a fair answer." Rayan listened carefully, then he read data from the core. He studied maps, weather patterns, and population needs. Instead of making a quick decision, he asked questions. He requested to speak with leaders from both provinces. He said to them, "Why fight over one river, when you could work together to build something better?" Rayan suggested creating a shared energy station in the middle, where both provinces could benefit equally. He even offered to bring Earth's engineers to help. The elders watched quietly, after some time. One elder finally said he does not speak to win. He speaks to understand. Rayan passed the first test. Zalara smiled. "You used wisdom not to control, but to connect." That is rare. The second test. Compassion. The next day, Rayan was taken to the Valley of Breath, a place where the wind always sang through the trees. There he was told nothing, no instructions, no guide. Zalara gave him a soft look and said, "This test will find you, not the other way around." Rayan walked alone for hours through glowing forests and quiet trails. He saw creatures of all kinds, some small like flying petals, others large and slow like walking stones. He admired them all, but none seemed to be the test. Then, deep in the forest, he heard a soft cry. Following the sound, he found an Etherian glimmer beast lying on its side. Its wing was bent, and its light was dim. Rayan looked around. Was there to help. He slowly moved closer, speaking softly. "It's okay, Dot. I'm not here to harm you." The creature didn't run. It looked at him with tired, glowing eyes. Rayan removed his jacket and gently wrapped it around the beast. Using leaves and soft vines, he created a splint to hold the wing. He stayed with the creature all night, feeding it light berries from nearby plants. By morning, the creature's glow returned. Suddenly, a group of Netherian watchers appeared from behind the trees. One of them stepped forward and bowed slightly. "You did not know we were watching," the elder said. "Yet you gave time, care, and kindness without hope of reward. This is true compassion." Rayan felt humbled. Zed Lara, who had quietly joined the group, looked at him with deep pride. "This is why I trust you." The third test, unity, for the final test. Rayan and Zalara stood in the circle of thought, a quiet chamber made of light and glass. Here, they would take part in a mind-link ceremony, a sacred Netherian tradition. The ceremony allowed two beings to share their thoughts, feelings, and memories, but only if their hearts were open. "If you hide anything," Zalara said softly, "the link will break." "We must both be true," Rayan nodded. "I'm ready." They sat facing each other, palms touching. Soft glow surrounded them as their minds began to connect. For a moment, Rayan saw her childhood floating gardens, her first song, "The Day." She became a princess. Then Zalara saw Rayan's memories, his small house on Earth, his sister laughing in the garden, his dreams of peace among stars. She also saw his fears of failing, of not being enough, of losing her respect, and yet none of it scared her. In fact, she whispered, "Your honesty is your strength." Rayan felt tears in his eyes. "You see all of me now. I still want to walk beside you." Zalara smiled through the glow. "And I beside you." When the ceremony ended, the room was silent. The head elder stepped forward. The link was strong. "You are now bonded in understanding." The third test is complete. That night, a celebration was held in the palace gardens. Lights floated in the air like stars. Music played softly, and guests from many planets came to watch. Zalara wore a silver robe, and Rayan wore a ceremonial Earth Netherian tunic made specially for this day. He had never felt more honored. As the two stood side by side, Zalara whispered, "You have passed every test, Rayan, but there is one more choice. Not a test, but a truth. My world is not your world. You may return to Earth and keep your old life, or ... You may stay and help build something new. What do you choose?" Rayan took a deep breath. He looked at the stars above them. "I choose the path where you are," he said, "even if I don't know where it leads." Zalara took his hand gently. "Then let us walk it together." And so, after passing the tests of wisdom, compassion, and unity, Rayan Carter stood not just as a guest, but as someone truly trusted in Netheria. What started as a simple gift had now become the beginning of a bond that would change to worlds forever. Rayan stood at the top of the floating bridge that led from the Sky Palace to the shuttle port. The cool Netherian breeze touched his face gently. Behind him, the glowing towers of Netheria sparkled under the soft light of the twin moons. In front of him was the ship that would take him back to Earth. He was going home, but not alone. Princess Zalara was joining the Earth visit as part of a peace mission. The Galactic Union had arranged a cultural exchange, and now it was Earth's turn to host Netheria's royal guest. But to Rayan, this trip meant more. He wasn't just returning as an ambassador. He was returning with someone who had changed his heart. Zalara stood beside him in a simple white travel robe, different from her usual royal clothes. She looked peaceful, but Rayan knew this journey was just as emotional for her. "Are you ready?" he asked softly. Zalara nodded. "Your world is new to me, but if you are there, then I am not afraid." The spaceship traveled smoothly through the stars. Inside, Zalara looked out the window at the changing lights of the galaxy. Earth was still far, but she was curious about the blue planet Rayan had spoken of so many times. Rayan gave her a tour of the ship. He showed her the food area, the Earth's music room, and even a simple Earth-style garden with small trees and flowers. "These are cherry blossoms," Rayan said, pointing to the pink blooms. "They look fragile," Zalara said, touching one gently. "They are. But they always return in spring," he replied. "Even after the coldest winters," Zalara smiled, "just like hope."
Yes.
After 2 days of space travel, Earth finally appeared in view. From the window, the blue oceans and green lands looked peaceful and beautiful. Zalara gasped softly. "It's more alive than I imagined," she said. The ship landed at the United Space Council headquarters in Geneva. Earth many officials had come to welcome the princess. Flags of many countries waved in the wind. Cameras flashed. Reporters stood behind barriers. Everyone was curious about the alien visitor and the human who had caught her attention. Zalara stepped out calmly. Rahan stayed close beside her. Some people clapped. Others watched in silence. But no one showed disrespect. The world was watching. Rayan's parents were also present. His mother had tears in her eyes when she saw her son. "Mom," Rayan said with a warm smile, "I'd like you to meet Princess Zalara." Zalara bowed slightly. "It is an honor to meet the ones who raised him." Rayan's mother hugged her kindly. "And it's an honor to meet the one who saw the truth in him." During the next few days, Zalara explored Earth with Rayan. They visited peaceful parks, .com beaches, and quiet temples. They tasted human food like fresh bread, soft fruits, and sweet tea. Zalara found joy in small things. She loved watching children play. She smiled at birds singing in trees. She even tried to plant a flower in Rayan's backyard garden. "I never thought dirt under my nails could feel happy," she said, laughing gently. Rayan laughed too. Earth has many surprises. In the evenings, they talked for hours under the stars. Zalara listened to Rayan's dreams. Rayan asked about her childhood. They spoke not as ambassador and princess, but as two souls learning each other. But not everything was easy. Some Earth leaders had questions. They wondered, was this bond real? Could a human and an Etherian truly share a life? Would Earth lose its voice in space affairs? At a large council meeting, one ambassador asked directly, "Princess, do you plan to stay on Earth and leave your duties in Netheria?" Zalara answered calmly, "I do not wish to leave Netheria, but I do not wish to leave Rayan either. Perhaps it is time we stop choosing only one world." Another ambassador asked Rayan, "And you? Will you leave Earth behind to follow her?" Rayan stood proudly. "I love Earth, but I also love learning. If I must travel between both worlds to serve peace, then I will. Our connection is not about escape. It's about building something new." The room became silent. Later in private, Zalara asked Rayan, "Do you regret offering me that pendant at the summit?" Rayan looked at her with soft eyes. "Not even." For a second, Zalara smiled, but looked thoughtful. "If we move forward, we must decide. It's not just where we live, but what we become together." Rayan took her hand gently. "And let's not choose between Earth or Netheria. Let's build something between both." And that idea changed everything. The Galactic Union offered a new solution, a floating interplanetary embassy. Located in peaceful space between Earth and Netheria, it would become a place of learning, sharing, and connection, led by Rayan. And Zalara, the idea was accepted. Zaylara said during the announcement, "Our bond is not a symbol of love only. It is a bridge between two people, two cultures, and two hearts." People from both worlds clapped. Hope returned to many faces. On their last evening on Earth before returning to space, Rayanne and Zaylara walked through a quiet field filled with fireflies. Zaylara looked up at the stars. So many lights, so many paths. Rayanne smiled, and we found ours. Unexpectedly. She turned to him, her eyes glowing softly in the moonlight. "I still remember the moment you gave me that little wooden pendant," she said. Rayanne laughed. "And I still remember your words. So you're taking me as your life partner?" Zaylara smiled, then stepped closer. "I couldn't believe your words that day." Rayanne looked into her eyes. "And now?" She gently placed her hand on his heart. "Now I believe them." As the fireflies danced around them, Earth and Netheria no longer felt so far apart. In their hearts, two worlds had already become one. This was not the end of their story, it was the beginning of something beautiful, not just for them, but for all who dreamed of peace among stars. The stars above were quiet and peaceful, blinking like tiny lamps in the great sky. Far between Earth and Netheria, a new structure floated calmly in space, the Interplanetary Unity Embassy. It was not just a building, it was a symbol, the round. Silverdome had gardens inside, language schools, culture rooms, and glowing halls made for both humans and Netherians. It was designed to make everyone feel at home, no matter which planet they came from, and at the heart of it stood Rayanne Carter and Princess Zaylara. They had not chosen Earth. They had not chosen Netheria. They had chosen something in between. Something new, a bridge between two stars. Inside the main garden dome, Rayanne walked along a small glowing path. Soft earth grass grew below his feet. On one side, Netherian light flowers bloomed, gently humming a sweet tone.
Oh, yes.
On the other side, human roses stretched toward the soft, artificial sunlight. Zaylara joined him silently. She wore a soft blue robe made of Netherian silk, mixed with patterns from Earth. In her hand, she held the wooden pendant Rayanne had once given her, the one that had started everything. "I was thinking," she said, her voice calm, "about how far we've come." Rayanne smiled. "So am I. It still feels like a dream sometimes." Zaylara laughed softly. "When you gave me this pendant, I thought you made a proposal." "I guess I kinda did," Rayanne joked. "And now, here we are," she said, looking around. "With peace, plants from two worlds, and students from 5 species." They stopped at a bench made of both crystal and wood, Earth's oak and Netheria's lightstone. "It wasn't easy," Rayanne said, "but it was worth it." Many guests visited the embassy every day. Some were young students, curious to learn about each other's culture. Some were scientists working on projects together. Some were artists, singers, and writers trying to create new stories for a united future. One day, a young Netherian boy walked up to Rayanne in the garden. "Are you really the human who offered the life pendant to the princess?" he asked, eyes wide with wonder. Rayanne knelt down and smiled. "Yes, I am, though at the time I didn't know what it meant." "But you didn't run away," the boy said. "You stayed." Yes, Rayanne nodded. "Because sometimes, even if you don't know the full path, your heart knows it's the right one." The boy looked thoughtful. "I want to be like that." Rayanne placed a gentle hand on the boy's shoulder. "Then you already are." Later that evening, a small celebration was held in the Unity Dome. It was the 6-month anniversary of the embassy's opening. The room was filled with soft lights, gentle music, and sweet smells from Earth and Netheria. Guests sat at round tables, humans, Netherians, and a few friends from other planets. Zaylara stood at the front and gave a short speech. 6 months ago, she began, we did not know if this dream would survive. People wondered if two hearts from different stars could beat as one. But today, we see the answer. She looked toward Rayanne. It was never about being perfect. It was about being patient, open, and honest. It was about trust. And most of all, it was about listening. The guests clapped warmly. Then Rayanne stood. "I come from a small planet. We once looked up at the stars and thought they were too far, he said, but now I look beside me, and I see someone from another world who trusted me, who walked with me. He turned to Zaylara. You believed in me, even when I wasn't sure I deserved it? Zaylara smiled gently. And now, Rayan continued, I believe in something even bigger, a future where Earth and Netheria, and maybe many more worlds, walk side by side. After the speeches, music played. A group of students performed a soft song, part human melody, part Netherian light rhythm. Everyone listened in peace. Rayan and Zaylara sat together, sharing a quiet moment. You spoke well, Zaylara said. So did you, Rayan replied. Your people respect you, and now Earth does too. I'm not just a princess anymore, she said softly. I'm a partner. Rayan looked at her, eyes warm, and I'm not just an ambassador. I'm yours. She gently placed the pendant around her neck and let it be clear for all, this bond is not just between people, but between planets. In the days that followed, the embassy became more than just a symbol. It became a school, a home, and a light in space. Rayan led many peace talks between planets. He helped start new science projects, art shows, and cultural fairs. Zaylara created a garden school where children from all species could grow plants, learn patience, and study together. One day, Zaylara and Rayan stood before a group of young children. What's the most important lesson from your story? A child asked. Zaylara answered, that kindness can open more doors than power. Rayan added, and that a small gift, like a wooden pendant, can change the stars. That night, as they sat alone in their private sky room, Zaylara looked out. At the stars, do you ever miss Earth? She asked gently. Sometimes, Rayan said. The beaches, the sound of real rain. My family's laughter, Zaylara nodded. I miss Netheria's singing rivers, my mother's garden. Rayan reached for her hand. But I don't miss who I was before, because now I have you, and together, we have something greater. Zaylara turned to him with a soft smile. I still remember my words from that day, she said. I said, so you're taking me as your life partner, Rayan chuckled. And I still remember how scared I was. Now I understand why I said. That, Zaylara continued, it was more than surprise. It was hope. Part of me wanted to believe. And now I do. Rayan looked into her eyes, and I always will. Outside, the stars blinked softly, watching their story unfold. It had started with a simple gift. It grew through tests, trust, and time, and it became something bigger than two. People, it became a light for others to follow. In a universe full of difference, two hearts had found a path together, not by force, not by fear, but by quiet steps of peace and love.